Welcome to Gut Punch, the podcast that explores life-changing moments. Hosted by Kathryn Lancioni, a seasoned educator with personal insights into resilience. Kathryn shares how life can change in an instant, shaping our path forward. Each episode features inspiring guests who face their own gut punch moments. Guests share their journeys through loss, upheaval, and triumph. What to expect: honest conversations, lessons in resilience, inspiration for growth. Join Kathryn as she highlights courage and perseverance in every story. Gut Punch is a reminder that there is always a path forward. Be part of the conversation. Register now to join Kathryn for today's journey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Gut Punch. My name is Kathryn Lancioni, and I'm your host for today's episode. Today, we are joined by fashion designer Aysha Saeed, who is going to share a little bit about herself, talk about challenges or gut punches she's faced, and most importantly, how she has managed to build the fashion empire that she has. So, Aysha, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be part of this. I'm so excited that you asked me to join.
My absolute pleasure. So, why don't we start? If you could share a little bit with everybody about your background, I think that's a great place to begin.
Sure. As you mentioned in the intro, I'm a founder of a fashion brand called Aysha New York. Like its name, we're based in New York City. But my background was not in fashion when I started my professional career. It really was in finance. But my passion has always been styling and dressing up. And I knew as a little girl what dressing up and looking good, how it can make an impact in your life, in your career. So I left the finance world to pursue my dreams of becoming a designer. And I'm very happy to share, after many years of hard work, not giving up, I have an established brand that is worn by some of the most influential, powerful, self-made women. And I think that's something, a dream come true to have made that happen. But again, through hard work, not luck.
So no, and I will say, as a lover of your collections, what I love is the creativity and the I don't know, just the femininity that it embodies. I feel like so many things that are available to women in the stores tend to be more masculine in design and cut than feminine. And your stuff, whether it's, a bedazzled jacket or just a really beautifully cut dress, just celebrates all that it is about being female. And I know from personal experience, your outfits are fabulous and showstoppers and always get like, oh my God, where did you get that comments? It's great.
Absolutely, because I just think part of as a woman, your strength is your femininity. There is no reason why you should be hiding that and hiding behind clothes that don't fit you well or a more masculine tailoring. I think we're doing disservice to ourselves. So being a woman, being feminine and proud of our body, whatever shape and size it is something that gives us confidence. And that's what I try to do with the clothes we make. And I appreciate that you see the details, and it's women like yourself. We like to dress.
All about the buttons.
Yes.
Sorry. And I will throw that out there. If you want to see Usher's collection, later on we will tell you how to access it online, and you'll appreciate the buttons. So, all right. So before you got into fashion and before you built your career in fashion, you were in finance, and you were in finance at a time when, I mean, there still aren't a lot of women on Wall Street, but I would imagine that when you were there really weren't a lot of women on Wall Street. What was that like for someone who loves being a woman to be in an industry that's so male dominated in male culture? What was that like?
Yeah. And I could tell you, I probably was the only woman on the team in many different companies that I worked in. There will be a team of 15 or 20 individuals working on a project or a department. I probably was the only woman. And I think when you're in your 20s, at least at that time, I didn't pay too much attention to that because nobody was really talking about male, female, how many women are in the industry or not. And I didn't pay much attention to it. I just did my own thing. Even then, at that stage in my life, I just wanted to be feminine. I always dressed up for all the meetings. I was the one in high heels, well put together. And it got a lot of attention. I'm not gonna lie. And the attention was that I got noticed. When I sat around a conference room table, they would see this young person, very polished. And somehow that gives you authority. I felt that they wanted to hear what I had to say. And that just made me say, okay, then you need to dress up more. And then they would give me more visibility with clients, high profile clients. They would want to present me as a junior account person. And I said, yes, let's do it. But many times I raised my hands for projects that I didn't even know I was qualified for. but somehow I knew just you'll figure it out. Somebody will help you along the way. Just say the right thing, look the part, and the rest of the doors will open. And that has really helped me have that kind of mindset that if you don't have all the answers, don't panic. Just do your best and ask when the help is needed, and good people will help you, but do the work. Stay longer, work
Yeah.
the weekends. I did all that to make up for what I didn't know. But dressing away and looking right played a huge, huge role in my Wall Street career. And they used to joke to a point. I remember somebody saying, I think you need to work at Vogue. Like,
Actually, I would agree with that.
good. I was like, yeah, do you know anybody?
Okay, but I want to go back to something that you said, and it's about the way that you dressed in the male-dominated atmosphere that was instilled very much as Wall Street. What gave you the courage to do that?
So, it wasn't even a courage that was just so innate in me, who I am as a person. I came to the United States when I was about 12 years old from Pakistan. And when I came into this country, I was in high school and I was the kid that stood out. I didn't fit in. It was all white, small town in New Jersey. And I was lonely. I was like, oh my God, am I going to make any friends? Didn't look like I was making any friends. I just made a conscious decision that I was going to become the most stylish girl in high school. So that style and power of clothing and confidence started at an early age. So I used that to fit into American culture. And when you get encouragement from your teachers and people around you saying, oh my God, you look so nice. I love what you have on. That just builds that
It does.
further. And then I applied the same principle in college. I didn't carry a backpack, I had a beautiful briefcase, crocodile skin. Again, I always had my own thing going on in college too. And again, that made me stand out in the room and I enjoyed it. So you kind of just keep building on that. And I loved it. So I really didn't do it to manipulate the room or anything. I don't think I was that savvy. I
Yeah.
did it because it made me want to go to school. It
Yeah.
made me want to get up early. And to me, life is a dress up game. So if you want to go and you look pretty and you feel good, your day's going to go well.
Well, no, and it's what's so interesting about that is I mean, that's amazing that you had the confidence that early on to do that. And it's wonderful that it stayed with you and empowered you. And the other part about it is like, we've become a very judgy society. I think it's a fair way of putting it, and people judge you when you first walk in a room on how you look. And
100%, 100%, whether we like it or not. And you can't stop it either.
it's just human nature, and you can't fault someone for being that way. It's just how
Yeah.
we as humans are. And I know that I've become very aware of. I teach public speaking, and that's one of the things we always talk about is nonverbal communication. It's like where you stand, where your eyes look, your body language, how your arms move, and all that. But it's also how you dress. And
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely. I think before you even say hello, your body is visible to everyone,
that's right.
And so it really, the colors, the style, everything makes an impact. And what I find so astonishing is we spend so much time figuring out what we're going to say, our PowerPoints,
Yep.
our speaking notes, so forth and so on. We should spend equal amount of time on how we're going to physically show up. And a lot of times people don't do that, and I find that so like, oh my God, you don't know what you're going to wear. I start with the outfit and then my presentation.
No, that's right.
Opposite.
Well, no, but it goes back to like when we were all little kids in my house, at least, like, first day of school, like my mom always had me pick out my outfit the night before. And as an adult, I still like before I have a big meeting or a presentation or a speech or something, I always pick out my outfit or outfits the night before. And I always give myself variety. But I always go back to something. Simon Noonan used to be the fashion director at Barney's in New York when it existed. And he said something once at an event that I was at. He says, if it doesn't make you feel beautiful, don't wear it.
Yeah,
And
of course.
there
Yeah.
is so much to that. And it doesn't have to be some crazy expensive outfit.
No.
It can be anything, but as long as you feel beautiful and confident in it.
Yeah, and comfortable, because
Right.
if you're not comfortable, it's not beautiful. That's another thing I would say, because if it's too tight or if it's too short or it's not, you're going to focus on that little detail, and it
Right.
kind of shows you fidgety, you're constantly fixing your dress or skirt or whatever. So you have to kind of move around in it beforehand to see how you feel. How do you feel when you're sitting down in it? Is it going to wrinkle? And if it's pattern, how busy of a pattern is it? Because everybody's photographing you and you would want to be photographed. So these are little details that sometimes women, especially when they're busy and they're multitasking and they're in a high level career, they forget. And I guess that's why our brand exists, because we can do that for them. So, and I'm happy to do it. I say, you do what you do. Let me help you with this part, because we
Well,
can't
that's
be good
right.
at everything.
The whole phrase the power suit, right? I mean, that
Yeah.
comes from like, the power isn't like, oh, you're going to walk into a room with all these powerful people. The power is coming from internally, coming from
The
you.
glow.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And I do, every time I'm trying to pick out something to wear for whatever, I always think about, what you said and what Simon Newton said. And I'm like, okay, what of this, collection of things, what do two questions I ask myself. One is, what image do I want to give? If I show up in my gym clothes, that's one image. If I show up in a black suit, that's another. And if I show up in a red dress, that's another, right? So what image do I want to project, and how does that go to my brand? And B, what do I feel good in? What do I feel great in? There is, there's so much to that. I had this funny experience. I was in Miami back in, I guess it was early September, and I wore this red. I never wore red. I wore this red suit, and it was the vest with the red pants, something I had bought, I don't know, a while back. And, there was like a 6-minute video clip of the speech that I put on my LinkedIn. And I got so many comments, not on my speech, but on the color of everyone's like, "Oh my God, Kathryn, you're rocking the red." I was like, "This? Like, really?"
Yeah.
It wasn't some crazy designer thing, but it was just that pop of color that I never wear. And I will say I now wear red a lot more, because I don't know, like, it was just really neat to see, and fun to see, like, what a slight little change can do, you know?
100%. I always say, when you're trying to pick what you're going to wear for a big occasion, when you're speaking or you're presenting or you're just going to an important event, think about what 3 words others would think of you when they look at you if you didn't say who you were. If you walk into a room, what do you want them to know if you didn't have the opportunity to introduce yourself, right? Like for me, it would be, I want them to know I'm an entrepreneur. I want them to know I'm stylish and I'm a risk taker.
Okay.
So like, these are the 3 words that I always think of that are very innate to who I am.
Yeah.
And so my clothing kind of projects that, more or less. It's never going to be a boring, solid outfit, which will be too safe, too blending in. It always will have little something to it, because that's who I am. It may not be for someone in finance or a lawyer, but one should be aware of what are your 3 words or adjectives that you want others to know you for, your brand, as you would work with them on.
Yeah, and I think it's so incredibly important. And I think so. Here's, I don't know, something just occurred to me as we were talking, is for women, we're often put in situations where we are the only woman in the room, right? And sometimes things are said to us, or judgments are made about us that might be unfair, or might, like, I don't know, totally. What do you think that, wearing the right thing, how does that help you navigate it? If you're confident in how you look or what you're wearing, how do you think it helps you navigate the situation?
I think what it does is it gives you more of a voice. You feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
When you look good, you're not going to let someone intimidate you, because you have that inner confidence.
Yeah.
And you're willing to raise your hand more often. You're willing to voice your opinion. And if someone is in disagreement with you or dismissive, you don't let that rattle you,
Yeah.
because you have that inner strength somehow that's with you. You're like, yeah, let him do or let her do what she wants to do. It doesn't matter. And at least that's how I have felt. And I've seen that happen with women as well. And that's why when I knew it's not just me, this is a thing that we all go through.
Yes.
I have this amazing client. She sits on a lot of publicly traded company boards. And she said, since I've met you, when I walk into a board meeting, I never, ever have to worry about how I look, because I'm going to be wearing your outfit. I just focus on what I'm going to say. And that's all I care about, is just looking at the room, and they're all men. And I just feel amazing. And I'm like, that is so wonderful, because you shouldn't worry about that. And she's like, because of that, I don't have to worry. She's like, I just focus on my message, and that's it. And the message is clearer, is crispier, and you will not be missed. And you do leave a lasting impression also.
Yeah.
Through your clothing. And that's also one thing to worry about. It's not what you are at that moment, is what opinion you're leaving behind when you're not in the room. So That makes it.
Yeah, no, it makes a huge difference. What are some tips or some ideas that you have for helping women and men, helping professionals kind of discover what type of image they want to cast off, like that they want to project to people?
Since I easiest way is look what's in the market. Look at celebrities or look at people you admire. Why do you admire them? Whether they're in business or someone that you think, oh my God, I wish I could look like that, or I really like this person. Just we all have them because we're bombarded by these images,
Yeah.
and see what you like about that person. One person I did this exercise with, she used Amal Clooney as an example. I said, perfect. What do you love about her? She's always polished. She's always in solid color. She's always, monochromatic with her looks. So that starts giving you some vocabulary to work with. And of course, we're not going to look like celebrities. I don't care what we do. So
Right.
that's not why we're looking at them. We're just looking at them to see what catches our eye.
Yeah.
So that's one. And then you start looking at your own lifestyle and what world are you in? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you an attorney? Are you a financial advisor? A doctor? You have to understand your surrounding. That's really important. Who are the people you're meeting with the most? Your
Who's your
clients, you're
audience?
presenting, your audience. So once you have sorted that out, and then the third thing would be like, how do you apply your style into it? And you can't have that happen overnight. There's no such thing as overnight anything. Stop playing around with few items. Add new items to your closet a little bit at a time. And work with a stylist. If you're struggling, there are brands out there, there are stores out there that provide that service. Get expert help in the beginning to get things moving because it's overwhelming. Like anything we do, I get help. If I'm really want to get in shape, I to hire a personal trainer for a little bit.
Right.
Maybe I can't afford to keep them all the time, but to help you get started, to get the foundation going, work with an expert and apply it to yourself and understanding also what shape you have and what works best for you. And that sometimes an expert can help you. What are your best features? So let's work with that. And what do we don't like about ourselves? We all have things that we don't
Oh
like.
my God, I have a list.
God knows we have that. So how do we camouflage those? There's ways you can do that. 100%. There's ways, the fit, the color, the tailoring, the silhouettes. There's many ways we can hide and enhance.
And I think it's so important because I don't think people think about the emotional connection between what you're wearing and how it makes you feel, right? And you've got, like that's why like there are different designers and different styles. Everyone doesn't look good in everything.
No.
Everyone, to your point, doesn't feel good in everything. I mean, I know that there's certain types of clothing that and designers that I are attracted to because I love their style. And there are others that just aren't my thing, or my jam, as people would say. Of those styles are so different, and they don't highlight the parts of my personality that I want to highlight. So, and we're all different people. So I think, we have to respect if one person likes something and one person likes something else. But there's such a strong connection between what you're wearing and how you feel. And to the point, when you walk in that boardroom or you walk into that meeting or you get on that webinar, you get up and give that speech, that you feel confident about what the skin that you're in.
Yeah. And it makes a huge difference. It really does. You may not think so, but the audience sees that. I always say you have a different pep in your step. You have a different sparkle about you. There's a different level of joy and energy you radiate, and that's magnetic. You give off like this magnetic vibes that others want to be around you. I mean, that's how you build yourself up and everyone around you is when you have that. And when I'm not dressed up, and there's days when I just want to blend in, I don't want even anyone on the street to say hello to me. And that's okay too. I always joke. I'm like, if somebody stopped me and say, Aysha, is that you? And if I'm not looking my best, I'll be like, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Me, but asterisk, not really me today. Yes.
I think so. No, I'm just
So
kidding.
I unlike you always fabulous. I do not. And I know that. And I'm okay with that because there are certain days where I feel like getting all dolled up. And there are most days where I'm like, I'm good in my athleisure wear.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with, I call them our down days, our
Right.
admin days when we're just like doing our own thing, or even in my studio, I'm not, it's just in-house stuff. I don't have to see anybody. I'm not presenting, definitely not hosting. You need to have those down days. You really do, because every day can't be an on day.
Yeah.
Then it's a lot of work. So with me, I have so much clothing, I have access to everything, and I don't necessarily get super dressed up every single day. I'm like, I don't have to. My face needs a break. My body needs a break. I want to be in comfy clothes. Because then when you do dress up, you feel the switch being turned. It's like the light switch that gets turned on, like boom, you feel the difference between relax, easygoing, I want to hide, to boom, I'm on. And that I think is important, because if every day I was on, then where is the on and off, you know?
Remember, one of my funniest memories of the past decade was when the first time I put on makeup after COVID, and I, had put mascara. I mean, I did the whole thing. I was like, "Oh my God, there
Mm,
she is!" Right?
yeah,
Because we all went so long by like hanging out in our jammies or our sweats or whatever your athleisure choice was at that time, and it wasn't like a week, as we all know, it was months, and it felt so good
yeah,
put the makeup on and get all dressed up and actually go out. I was like, "Oh my God." But it was also nice to wash that face off when I got home that evening and go back to my comfy clothes.
exactly, exactly. That was a major change we all felt. Yeah, by everyone.
So, all right. So parting question. So for women and men that are just overwhelmed and feel like they're listening, they're just like, yeah, no, I know I need to like, focus on the inner me or the me, external me, inner me. There's that marriage of the two. But if someone just feels like they're just stuck, like well, they're stuck emotionally, maybe stuck, physically, whatever, what is your recommendation? Because you really help people discover the person on themselves. I mean, I've seen it with all the women that you work with. What is your tip for motivating someone to start? Because I talk to people, oh, no one cares, no one looks at me, no one cares what I think about. It's not true, right? So how do you incent clients or incent women that to start caring about themselves?
Because I look at it this, if you don't, you're shortchanging yourself. So if you're not paying attention to the way you look on the big moments, you're leaving money on the table, so to speak,
Yeah.
because you're missing out on opportunities. You're missing out on ways you can impact others. So this, I always say, you are the cake, the clothing is the icing on you. Like, the clothing is the icing on the cake. So when we go to shop in a bakery, what attracts us is the icing, the way it's decorated, the way that's the first thing that catches your eye. Nobody's looking at the flavor inside. You can't. That takes time. That takes more effort. So why not let the first opinion count? And if you don't pay attention to that, you're really shortchanging, because I've seen hundreds of women, I think, that have transformed their lives. And I'm very, very proud that I've done that, because that makes my work so much meaningful,
Yeah.
because you're really impacting them. They have said they have gotten engaged because they're wearing my clothes. They've gotten promotion because they're wearing my clothes, or they got picked for an assignment. I'm like, no, that's not the reason. My clothes just made you sparkle. That just gave that extra oomph that you already had. So we all have that something within us. And easiest way to bring that out is by changing our outside shell. And it doesn't have to be intimidating. It may sound intimidating, but take baby steps. First thing, audit what's in your closet. Look at yourself in the mirror. What makes you, are you really happy the way you look? Do the clothes really fit you? Or we all put on a little weight here and there. It happens. Don't hide behind it. Address it. Either if you're not going to lose that weight, then work with the body you have, not the body you wish you had. We all wish for this, that, the other, but we have to be realistic. There's so much, as you mentioned, there's so many brands out there. There's so much product out there. It's so many different price points. Price is not really an issue. You could just shop at different levels. Everything doesn't have to be expensive. I had a client earlier, we were just talking about this. She bought, styles for me, and she's like, oh, I don't know what to put under. I bought this top and that t-shirt. I'm like, listen, go to Walmart. It's $7 tanks you could put under this jacket.
Yep.
$7 t-shirt. That's it. She's like, are you serious? I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
that's where I get my t-shirts. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not going to spend $80 on a t-shirt.
Yep.
I'm just not going to do it. To me, that's not worth it.
Yep.
But I'll be okay with $500-600 well-made blazer, because that's going to be with me for next 5, 6, 10 years.
Right.
And the t-shirt in a couple of years, I could care less about it.
Right.
So just know how to spend your money, how to budget it out with your wardrobe, and it doesn't have to be super expensive or intimidating. If you start auditing yourself, ask someone to help you. Look in the mirror, be honest, and do it for the days that count at first.
Yeah.
The presentation coming up, a big event that you're hosting, especially in today's world, you're getting photographed, you're being on social media. So this kind of stuff really is an added, and it's as important as the work you do.
It is.
It
And
really is.
I love
Sorry,
it.
it sounds maybe superficial, but it's really not superficial. It's
No,
as important.
I think too. And I think there's also, I just love the way that you said start with the small stuff. And, everybody can't afford to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on everything. It's
No.
unrealistic. So I think it's called up and down styling. Like you pick the place where you want to spend the money and then you don't spend it on others. You know,
And sometimes when I buy something expensive, guess what? I'm not going to go out to fancy dinners for a while. And I'm okay with that. You
right. That's right. That's right.
balance
Yes.
your
Got to balance.
budget, and that's okay. Not everybody has a unlimited budget out there. But in buying, if you do invest in well-made stuff, make sure it goes along with other items in your closet. Like it gets along with everything else. So you can mix and match with different items because then you get price per wear
Right.
out of it. And it's not just hanging there for that one time.
Right.
Nothing expensive should be just worn for that one moment. I think that's when you go to run the runway or something like that.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Agree. Agree. Alrighty. Well, I mean, any other parting words of wisdom you want to share with everyone? Because there's such a connection between resilience and control and how we carry ourselves in the professional world and also in the personal. Any other kind of stories or wisdom you want to share with everybody?
I'm so passionate about how we dress up, how we show up, how we present ourselves, because it is an instant boost lifter. It instantly changes your attitude about yourself, and it's something we control. We don't need to go to a therapist. We don't need to go take medication. It's in your hand. You just have to pay attention to it, make sure you have the right clothing, and it really makes a huge difference. I'm a walking, talking example of that. I don't just talk about this. I genuinely have lived my life with this principle since I was 12 years old. I was a girl that came to this country who had language issues, who looked different. I have no friends, barely anybody I knew, but I used fashion and clothing and image creation and my own self through that. And that has guided me through college and Wall Street and then becoming an entrepreneur. And now I'm doing that with hundreds and thousands of other women. So clearly there's something to it. And I want everyone to give it a shot and have fun with it. And you'll make mistakes, but that's part of the fun, and you will discover your style. I have no doubt in today's world with all the resources. And then you'll be happy you have.
I love that. And one more thing, if you could share everybody a little bit about your sisterhood that you have, that would be helpful.
Yeah. So with our brand, I was meeting these amazing, incredible women, and I said they need to meet each other. So we finally formulated it in a concept called the Sisterhood Club. So it's a private club community that when you buy into a brand, you're actually buying into the community. And we host events where you meet each other, powerhouse women. I believe you can get to the next level by leaning on each other, not pulling anyone down. That's not the attitude of our ladies. And they're just there to encourage each other. And we do fun activities with them. Nothing heavy. It's all fun based on 5 pillars of enjoying life. And when you form lifelong friendships and connections, business deals come naturally. And that's what's happening with the community, with the sisterhood. And you're part of it too.
I am, and you're in
You.
New York and New Jersey, but you're spreading, going nationwide, right? What are some of the other cities that are going to be happening?
Yeah. February 5th, we will be in Chicago introducing the concept. We have DC in the works. March, I believe we're in Atlanta. And then LA is another city later this year. So these are 3, 4, 5 little chapters we want to have. And I think this way, women can be connected nationwide. And it's all organic. It's grassroots movement. And that's what I love about it. It's one woman telling the next and the next. So it's not my goal in life to create a social club, but it just naturally evolved into it. So we're more than just clothing. We're giving you a whole community.
You know what? I love that. And I think it's a community of women that roll with the punches, that are resilient, that, learn from each other as well as themselves. And there's so much that comes with that.
Yeah. And there's so much trust and there's so much level of support that we provide one another. And I kept the name so simple, Sisterhood. It's like your sister, your extended family. That's what I wanted to create, that it's your extended chosen family. Families we have, sometimes we love, we don't. Sometimes we don't, but we don't have a choice. But here we do have a choice, and we've given you a community where you could really rely and lean on each other. And we very carefully monitor that or remind everyone that that's what we're here for. We have to answer each other's emails, show up for one another, and they've been doing it. And that's how all these other chapters are popping up, because they're introducing other women to the community, and they're asking us to come and, have a presence. So
Right. Well, Aisha, thank you as always. Thanks for sharing your story and talking a little bit about you before the brand and why the brand. I mean, the why of the brand I think is so fascinating. And I think it's one of those things where what I love about it is you are very honest about the struggles that you had when you first came here. And you found something that was important to you. And you made that your focus. And that was your focus that not only made you feel comfortable with yourself, but empowered you to be present and grow your career both on Wall Street and in fashion, both of which are notoriously very, very hard environments.
very, very hard and very different from one another. And when you find your purpose, when you find your cause or your direction and your North Star, that makes you want to work harder and not give up. I mean, being where I am today was not an easy, smooth road. Absolutely not. But what made me continue was this is what I want to do. Like, I can't imagine doing anything else. So you might as well figure this out. And I kept going. You have to have that passion and to have the tenacity to succeed in Wall Street or in fashion, because these are not easy. Nothing is easy. That's what it's
Nothing.
doing, to be
No.
quite honest. Might as well find something you love.
Life is not a linear path.
No, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Life
Everything
has
is a twist and turn, and
these
surround yourself with good people, and the work you do has to, because you spend so much time doing what you do, for work. It's like 40, 50, 60 hours. So might as well be something you enjoy, because then you'll have a better chance of succeeding.
I love that. And on that note, I just want to thank you. And if people want to see the collection or or contact you, what's the best way?
They can go on our website, which is Aysha NY. It's AYSHANY.com. It has our collection, contact information, sisterhood information. Everything is there, and they can visit and reach out to us. We'll be happy to help in any way. And I hope this has inspired you to go look what's in your closet, and tomorrow put your best outfit and see how you feel.
There you go. Run the room. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I always love chatting with you, and talk soon. And thanks for being on the show. So,
Thank you so much. Take care.
and thanks everyone for listening to another episode of Gut Punch. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
That's it for today's episode of Gut Punch. I hope you found inspiration, because no matter how hard life hits, there's always a way forward. Make sure to follow or subscribe to Gut Punch on your favorite podcast platform. If you know someone who could use a little inspiration, share this episode with them. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay strong. See you in the next episode.